Hey guys and gals, this is the Bald Metal Nerd, just coming at you. I figured for the first discography series that I would do, it made sense to start at the beginning of my musical journey. Now, these guys aren't the most prominent metal band in the world, or a lot of people don't consider them all that metal, but to me, they're metal. So maybe I'm a bit biased, but I really like these guys. So that being said, I'm going to be talking about Skid Row to start off with. And of course, I'm going to start off talking about their 1989 debut. Uh, I figured that when I was 11 years old, way back in 1989, yeah, I know, I'm getting old. This was actually only like the second album I ever owned on my own. The first one I ever had was Michael Jackson's Thriller when I was like 5 years old. I also had, around when I was that same age, a little kid, I had some children's records, like some Sesame Street records, some other stuff, but nothing that, has any legit, music cred, nothing that really would be much interest to anybody. So, um, you know, around my 11th birthday, like I said, I decided, hey, I want to develop my own taste in music because at that time I didn't really have any. I had, watched some MTV, listened to some radio, listened to my parents' records some, and I just wanted to say I really wanted just to get a taste of something for myself. Um, and I was gravitating more towards rock than anything else. So my parents took me to Kmart and got me a wonderful Sony dual cassette boombox. Awesome times. It even had high speed dubbing on it. Deluxe. So I asked the person at Kmart what they would recommend. And it was a teenage girl. Now, don't laugh too much, guys. Um, you got to keep in mind, this is way, way, way back. This is before the internet existed in any sort of commercial form back, you know, uh, this is before, Windows was even common. So this is a really, really, really long time ago. So getting recommendations from people was a huge way of, checking stuff out. So she recommended two albums. One was the Skid Row album, and the other was Poison Open Up and Say Ah. Now, I took them home, listened to them both. I liked them both, but I definitely liked the Skid Row album much better. It's much heavier, it had more life to it, etc., etc., etc. You know, so now that I'm done yapping about my nostalgic trip, how I got the album, all that fun stuff, I will talk about the actual album and how it sounded to me at that time, and heck, how it sounds now because I just listened to it a few times to do this review. Uh, the album starts off with a track called "Big Guns." It's a pretty swinging, catchy, mid-paced rocker. It's a really great way to start off an album. "Sweet Little Sister" is a very fast-moving, catchy, rocking song. "Can't Stand the Heartache." It's a really well put together song with a wide variety of tempos and a great beat. "Piece of Me" is the next track. It's a catchy mid-paced rocker with a great bass line. 18 in Life is one of their most famous songs, and it's an outstanding semi-ballad anthem. It's probably the most soulful and mature song on the album. Next one is called Rattlesnake Shake. It's a really innovative fast rocker with a really great groove in it. Youth Gone Wild is a catchy mid-paced anthem. Here I Am, the next track, it's a catchy mid-paced song with a good groove and a good beat. Next song is Making a Mess. Uh, it's a fast, catchy rocker. Next one is I Remember You, and it's the Rustic power ballad that all of the bands in the 80s were doing. It's probably their biggest hit of all time, and it's really one of the best power ballads, in my opinion, that's ever been done. Now, the last track on the album is Midnight Tornado. It's a great fast-paced rocker and a really good album closer. The performances on this album are absolutely top-notch from the whole band. Awesome guitar work, great drumming, and the incomparable performance of Sebastian Bach, who was one of the best hard rock or metal singers out there in his prime. He really just could really hit those notes. The album has great production values and sound quality. The tone reminds me of a slightly heavier Appetite for Destruction. Now, the songwriting doesn't stack up to that album. This is not as good as Appetite for Destruction, but I do think this album is actually still quite good. There are 3 outstanding songs, and the rest are all good songs. It blows away 99% of other 80s era hard rock or hair metal. There's a very good reason that this album propelled Skid Row into a successful career quickly at the tail end of the hair metal era. It kicks ass, plain and simple. Does it belong in your collection? Now, if you only like extremely heavy music, then no, it doesn't. It's not death metal. It just isn't. But no one's first album they bought while developing their musical taste is too extreme, unless you're not lying cased. Most people don't go out and buy, one of my recent favorite albums is, Surgical Steel by Carcass. But are many people who are kids going to start with that album? Probably not, unless you are an outlying case. But if you like good solid hard rock, it's highly recommended. Out of 100 points, I give it an 85. Now, on their next album, they mature a great deal and get much heavier, and I'm going to be talking about that next. So, see you real soon.